Bonjour, it's your boy Ink. Goddamn, every single video tonight, I'm starting the video by coughing. I was having a debate with somebody tonight. I was talking in the group chat, right? And they were talking about a show on TLC, 90 Day Fiance, The Last Resort. So 90 Day Fiance, if you don't know, it's a bunch of people that goes to another country in order to get married in 90 days. That's the premise of the show. That's the show, right? They're paying for the trip, they're paying for everything, but you have to film it. So we know the show thanks to people like Big Ed, like Cole, like Mohammed, right? And those are people that are. Oh, I'm just gonna talk about Big Ed, okay? So Big Ed is kind of for the wrong reason. I don't like the guy. But for the wrong reason, he's the poster boy for the show. If you think about Nanny's fiance, you think about two people, Angelica. I don't fucking know. Uh, and shout out to my boy Wet Sox for being amazing at doing content. Um, the guy's phenomenal, you know. Yeah. So you think about her and you think about big no neck Ed because the guy is malformed. He was born without a neck, sadly. Yeah, but he's a complete dick. And we're talking about it and how funny it is. So they had the show 90 Day Fiance, and they did a couple seasons until people were they saw their view drop. So they took their most famous dysfunctional people, and they did so they were talking about TLC. And a lot of people are going against TLC for exploiting people misery. They did my 600 pound life. They did the 600 pound sister. They did 90 Days Fiance, and most of their show are, I would call it trash TV. I would call it I would actually refer to it as Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer, who sadly passed away. Rest in peace, sir. Um, Jerry Springer used to have these people on the show that were nutty, bro, and they were facing this situation that are almost inhumane, and nobody ever said uh, Jerry Springer was ever capitalizing on the fact that people were crazy, right? Because Jerry Springer offered insight. TLC, however, they don't offer insight, right? So, for example, my 600 pound life, they're bringing in the doctor. The doctor does a good show. Is it the best doctor? Possibly. Is it a good doctor because it does a good show? More likely. But they're they're not. You could say a network complete an outer moral compass would be if nothing happened. But in 90 Days Fiance, how many of the couple were dysfunctional? A lot. How many a couple were wholesome and it worked, and we actually cared for them, and then we actually liked them? A lot of them. And I think at the end of the day, if you can confidently say, "I did some good today. I did some in some shape or form. I helped somebody out today." It's a W day. It's a W. Um, my issue is things like it's not really an issue per se. It's more along the lines of I should have talked about I should have thought about what I was gonna say before making this video. It's more an issue of um your perception of things. If you're not actively trying to make the world a better place, and when the world crumbles around you, you cannot act surprised. So we were talking about TLC and we were talking about The Last Resort. So again, these people from 90 Days Fiance, they became a life in a single life. So the people we liked, we did a show where they became single, and I wanted to be single. That concept is good because you have a show where you're promoting relationship, you're promoting people meeting up, an amazing feeling of a marriage, of a wedding. However, by bringing the single life is, what if it didn't work? What if those people didn't get married? What if those people it didn't they ended up being single? And you can't have 100% rate. So when they came out with a single life, I was down for it because again, it was clever, it was smart, it was people I knew facing situations that aren't unheard of. And then you had a show where it's called The Last Resort. So these the same people, and they've been on the show for years now. And I'm like, okay, this is desperate because single life I can understand. Last Resort is their last chance to make the relationship work. If it didn't work during the marriage, if it didn't work during the fuck the single life, it's not gonna work now. And my issue is they put people on the show that are controversial, and that's when the moral compass gets a bit foggy. You bring in people that are not liked. Angela Deem, she's not liked. Big Ed, he's not liked. He isn't liked. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. Ace, I'm sorry. I don't think anybody's inherently evil. I don't think there's a bad person in this world. But these two, they're not proper model, role model, or even people to look up to. And I think there's a there's a line to be drawn at. I'm making a show and I'm inspiring people because, for example, Big Ed on TV, he exposed himself in front of people that weren't his girlfriend. And because it's a show, we say, oh, no problem. But if it was in real life, and if there was a dude in a jacuzzi with girls and he exposed himself, that's fucking jail. That's fucking jail. You got Angela, who's beating up Michael. She's abusing him physically, emotionally, verbally. And they're letting that shit go. So I was talking about it, and we were making fun of the contestants. And of course, I don't think making fun of the contestants is per se something good. I don't think it's morally correct on my part. Um, but then I realized, and the person I was arguing with, they were like, "Oh well, you should talk about people you don't know them. They're pretty good person." And what happened? What if it was to happen to you? What if you were the person on the show? Well, first of all, they're getting monetary value for that. Second of all, they're choosing to be there. They're not being forced. They're not being forced. And then I realized I'm making this video. And to me, the video I make, I like the content I make. I like the video I say. I'm being honest. I'm being myself. I'm expressing myself. I'm evolving in front of you guys. I'm evolving as I'm stepping down. I'm putting in place some of my opinion. And although some people they're gonna see this and see this complete nonsense, this complete bullshit, the people are gonna be disagreeing with me and say this doesn't make any sense, and I'll get made ridicule of. I think everybody that's in public eyes will get ridiculed for one thing or another, and I'm choosing to do this. I'm choosing it is. Um, then I always overthink. That's my biggest mistake. That's my biggest uh, flaw. Call me worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. That's a good song too. And I was thinking, what if I was the butt of the joke? What if I was humiliated? And I know I was complaining about being bullied at work, but it's different. I'm willing to get humiliated. I'm willing to be the butt of a joke if it's making 1,000 people like laugh. And I know this is crazy, because it's super narcissistical, it's super egocentrical, but I'm willing to make a lot of people laugh. If it means getting in pain, I don't care. As long as people laugh, as long as people are happy, I'm happy. The issue I have is, you have to understand that those people, yes, they're the butt of a joke, yes. But what is one person shame? What is one person shame versus people who are struggling in a relationship and are seeing this and say, well, maybe it's not that bad. What about people who are watching my 600-pound life? Right? And yes, those people are being humiliated, but what if it helped people? You know, a person's shame is only equal to the results. If you're getting shamed on for a couple people, if you're getting shamed on for something that's not worth it, okay. But if you're getting shamed on TV, of course, the gravity, the amount of shame you're gonna receive is gonna be bigger, of course, because you have more you have the spotlight on you. You have more exposure to being criticized. If you be if it's if even though you're being exposed, even if you have this exposure to be ridiculed, there's the people that are they're gonna be inspired by you. At the end of the day, as long as people are inspired, it's a W. It's not about you being humiliated. It's about you making a difference. And sometimes people who make a difference aren't super clever. They're not super charismatic. People who make a difference are the people that are showing what not to do. And I think we do need that. We're so focused on having role model that are going to teach me, oh, I'm going to make 1 million. I'm going to be on good health. I'm be in physical great health. We don't have enough role model that are actually actively saying, I'm a fucking mess. Don't be like me. I'll show you what it's like to be a mess. You know? Yeah, there was a streamer like not too long ago, like actually long ago. It was about 9-10 months ago, and you made a video about saying, "Oh, I'm unhappy. I'm fucking depressed. I don't have friends. I don't like the video game I'm playing." That video clip happened in one stream 10 months ago, and it's still a viral clip. That goes to show you two things: either we're seeing is distress as a show that we're enjoying a car crash, which is totally okay. I mean, It's human nature to see and compare, right? Monkey see, monkey do. Human nature. Or there's another possibility, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to prove in this video. This is the point I'm trying to make. What if we had such low exposure to distress, to depression, to taboo feeling, to a streamer who in our head is successful, but he doesn't like his life? What if that was the true perception? And because we don't have that exposure, we're so surprised that when we see it, we freak out. This happened more than once. You see people who are completely depressed, on depressant, they're on drugs, they're on alcohol. I'd rather be somebody that's honest. And again, this whole video was to prove that, yo, I'd rather be, if people are making fun of me, if I'm in shame, as long as I'm making a positive difference in the world. For example, think about, I'm not comparing myself, but I'm thinking about RuPaul, which is a huge figure in the drag queen industry and the gay community, and the amount of influence this guy had on the world is crazy. He made a show. He was the first and probably the longest lasting running drag queen show, and he got bullied. For sure he got bullied. For sure he got bullied. But he picked it up. He was strong. He was the banner wear. He wore the banner for the gay community, for the trans community, for the cross dressing community. And if you think about people like Muhammad Ali, who has an undeniable path, an undeniable impact on racism. If you look at people like MLK, Martin Luther King, you think everybody liked him? No. But those people, they had to suffer. Muhammad Ali was a victim of a lot of racism. A lot of racism. However, he managed to take the racism and do something better long term. His life, and this is the craziest concept. This is by far the craziest concept. You take your life, which is 50 years, and you're seeing how your life affected the next generation. Muhammad Ali, people still talk about Muhammad Ali. People still talk about fucking Martin Luther King. People still talk about Galileo, who discovered the Earth was round. We're still talking about Magellan. Still talking about. There's so many like figures we still talk about, and their life wasn't the greatest. Their life, everybody faced adversity, and remember them for the important part. And if my life has to be full of shame to leave a single positive impact on this life. For example, another more close to me, more close to my reality, we're seeing Good Mythical Morning. And how many times that show have been called cringe? How many times have this show called boring, or yo, we've seen everything we could see. But this show has been the forefather of YouTube. They're often called the YouTube dads. Their public changed, their public grew up with them. And it's a beautiful thing. So what if they were cringy a couple of times? So what if some of their content isn't the greatest quality? So what if at some time you're like, oh fuck, that's not your best Rhett and Link. They're still forefather. Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning. You might think that it's a YouTube channel, but it's more than that. When Smosh, which was again one of the founding figure of YouTube. If you're thinking about YouTube in the early days, you're talking about Fusi, you're talking about Romana Atwood, you're talking about Casey Neistat, you're thinking about Girlfriend versus Boyfriend, you're thinking about Good Mythical Morning, you're talking about Smosh. Smosh was bought by a company. Good Mythical Morning bought Smosh. Do you know why they bought Smosh? To give complete creator liberties to Anthony Padilla, which was one of the creator of Smosh. And at the end of the day, if you're not doing this, then you're not doing anything. This is beautiful. This is the society we live in. Was it a smart investment for Good Mythical Morning? Possibly the best investment they could have made. But when you make a move like that, people understand. People are not stupid. They understand that it's for the creator. Rhett and Link are creator. They understand what it's like to be creator. They understand what it's like to be a person who has to face their laws. I mean, I love being on YouTube, don't get me wrong. I love being a person who can create content on YouTube, but I do admit that sometimes, not all the time, the law or the regulation or TOS through a service can be quite restrictive on content creation. And I know this video is about one shame versus the greater good, right? But at the end of the day, it's more than that. It's about a generation. It's about being able to see content that some people are going to find cringy, but some people are going to be affected by it. You know? Who knows? Who fucking knows? I have no clue. These are all content. These are all ideas. These are all things I'm going to promote. Until I know what it is, until I understand, I truly understand. Because the difference between that and truly understanding what it means to do something that is, I feel like every creator, I feel like a painter. We're still talking about Picasso, Van Gogh. I think as a musician, people still refer to as Charlie Chaplin as the father of modern day cinema. It's a venture that we never know. It's funny because we always talk about we never know how the creator are going to affect future, but we're always talking about how content affected us. For example, you look at iCarly shaped a generation. And then you realize the one who created her, iCarly, was a fucking disgusting pig. Sorry, Dan Schneider. It was. It sucks because iCarly is to this day still a show that is a generation, a cryptic generation. It was about a girl creating content on media, right? And life move on. We have to move on. If we don't know how content affects us, and we don't know how creator affected us, it's kind of crazy to think that someday I might be a person that's able to have DMs or comments saying, "Hey, you made my life better. You taught me a lot." Maybe I'm having the illusion of grandeur. Maybe I have 138 followers, and I know this is nothing. But again, it's a number versus the idea I'm spouting, versus the general idea I want to promote on this channel, versus the general what I want to promote, when I want to portray. I am this guy who has been called weird. I'm this guy who's not controversial per se, but I'm out of norms. I don't follow norms, and that's what I have to prompt for people to be okay with being different. I'm gonna do it. You know, my values are self-acceptance. Self-acceptance. I always talk about how I'm self-dependent. I'm very self-acceptant. Also, I love myself. It was a tough work to love myself. It was a really hard job to be able to say, "Yo, I actually like myself." But we somehow, some way, made it. And at the end of the day, if you made it into self-love, then you can make it to a road of I will love others. Because if you don't love yourself, who the fuck are you gonna love, right? You're gonna go in these relationship where the person are gonna understand that you don't love yourself, and how can you ask other people to love yourself if you don't do it? I mixed and it didn't mix properly. Wait. And then I'm gonna use the sharp edge of the knife. And then I'm gonna be popping this bottle. Popping a bottle of champagne. It's not champagne, don't worry about it. And roller up. Too much. Too long wasted my youth. I grow up next summer. Love you guys. Peace.